Most people think you need a fancy studio to create a professional podcast, but let me prove you wrong. I'm outside right now in my backyard with dogs barking, birds chirping, and cars passing. The sun keeps changing, going behind clouds and coming out from behind clouds, creating harsh light. Despite all of these factors, I'm able to create a professional podcast setup with consistent lighting and multiple camera angles. And most importantly, audio. We're not gonna make you walk around with one of these bulky mics attached to your chest. Instead, we have industry-leading microphones that will provide your podcast with crisp, clear audio regardless of your location. Individually, these things might not seem like much, but you put them together and suddenly the space transforms into a professional podcast setup. It may seem pretty odd to you guys that I set up a podcast setup outside, but the point that I'm trying to make is to kind of remind you guys that if you have a vision and a message that you want to share through a podcast to help grow your business, personal brand, or whatever it may be, don't feel bottlenecked or stuck because you don't have a space. Because the truth is, whether it's a small room in your house, your apartment, a space in your shop, a gym, outdoors, whatever the space might look like, we can transform it into a professional podcast setup. And from this zoomed out perspective, it looks pretty silly. But in the end, all that matters is what's seen in the frame of the camera. And that's just part of movie magic. So if you take anything away from this video today, just know that whatever location you might have, part of the process when you're booking with me is I'll come and kind of location scout with you. We'll evaluate the space that you do have, and I'll take a look at it all before we book or commit to anything so we can make sure you have a space I'm confident I can transform into a professional podcast. Now that I've given you one less excuse for not starting a podcast, reach out to me and let's begin the process of bringing your message to the world. I want to make a little disclaimer really quick before we finish this video. We set this up outside to simply kind of make a point that regardless of the space that you have access to, we can turn it into a professional podcast setup. With that said, I wouldn't actually recommend doing one outside. There's just a lot of variables to work with. We could get rained on at any moment. The sun's constantly changing. You're on the edge of the couch, the sun's starting to hit it. And so before you know it, we're gonna have harsh lighting back on me. If you're absolutely set on doing an outdoor podcast, because I do think it would be kind of unique and very cool, there are some options that we could discuss. I'd have to come look at your location. It'd probably need to be under a pavilion of sorts. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying if it's something you want, let's discuss it, look at what you have available, and I'll tell you yes or no, whether or not it would work.